look at is the life cycle, okay, and of course define events. So the life cycle of Scrum, actually, ladies and gentlemen, I have to tell you all this, is it depends, okay, the life cycle of it depends on which position we are talking about, okay, and we go into the events to actually align your life cycle easier. Sprints is what we call the life cycle, as you can see from the picture, the wheel turning. Right? Sprints is about your timeline or your time length, how long you want it to be. So it's depending on your project. But going back to HR, if you are talking about recruiting a new staff, right? You need to set a time frame. You need to work with a product owner or rather the department head to understand how long, okay, do you have before, okay, the staff must be in. How long do you need? How long are you given to recruit the staff for them? Okay, so the timeline is very important. Next is the sprint planning. The sprint planning is talking about laying the groundwork. Okay, what we put it in simpler sense is the foundations for the work to be completed or the work to be performed. In HR here, your sprint planning, you need to plan when you want to interview the person, where you want to go in to do your recruitment, job street, newspaper, and so on and so forth. Okay, your recruiting process. So your sprint planning, as I mentioned, is your recruitment process here. Right now, it also be one portion that people have to understand. How you plan will also define how you work through. Okay, and this sprint planning here is a portion that is very important because a lot of people, I'm going to share this with you, right? Rita and everyone here. In Singapore, right, I used to work for the Waste Management Trade Association. So the Waste Management Trade Association, we deal with all the waste management owners. Okay, they were saying to me that, Kelvin, you don't understand. In our industry, right, it is very, very difficult to hire new staff. Why? I asked them why. Nobody likes a dirty job. I said, true, nobody likes a smelly and dirty job, although it's honest living. Now my question is this: can I know what are the people that you're hiring? They share with me. Oh, we don't need people to be degree holders. We don't need people to be like very smart. They just need to be a blue collar worker. So basically, even if they're not, if their education level, academic level is not high, as long as they can perform the job, they're able-bodied, we will take them. Oh, okay. That sounds great, right, Rita? Quite simple, right? Next question I had for them. So where did you put your advertisement? We put the advertisement on Job Street. We put the advertisement on the newspaper. I'm like, so you don't need them to have high education level, but you're recruiting people on Job Street. You don't need people to be able to read well, but you're putting on the Straits Times, or rather the newspaper. That doesn't sound exactly right. But if you actually have done sprint planning, you look through this portion, you will review it, and then you will understand how to fine-tune it, right? Daily Scrum, as the term goes, daily. So we talk about working things on a daily basis, right? Every day you get updates. It's just like you ask your colleagues, have you eaten your breakfast today? How's your day? It's as simple as that. However, for Scrum here, these 5 events must be faithfully followed. Even though it's just a short 15 minutes of a daily meeting to understand based on what's the updates and stuff like that, right? Ladies and gentlemen, it cannot be missed. Right? This daily Scrum cannot be missed. The fourth one that we talk about is the review. So just now when I was mentioning about waste management trade in Singapore, right? If they have done their sprint planning, they have done their daily Scrum, and then they see the results are not there, right? Then here comes the last portion about the sprint review. You will be able to actually sit down, go through black and white on documentation, right, to actually understand how you can perform better. Okay. Now, this sprint review, in a simpler sense, is about feedback. It's like a feedback session. It's not about clashing. It's not about sitting down and say, hey, you did it wrong. No, you did it wrong. And pointing fingers all over the place. It's about sitting down, taking an ownership and seeing, oh, what have we done and what could be done better and what else is missing. And that is in the sprint review. Retrospective is, in simpler sense, the fine-tuning to make things better, right? Or rather, we'll put it this way, planning ways to increase your quality, increase your effectiveness, and improve your performance. We all have, in HR, especially recruiting people, we all have the same headache of, I can't find people. It takes time, it's tiring, the interview process is long, and so on and so forth. Okay, if we go in as this portion of using the Scrum, we will be able to understand how we can set our time, how we can plan, how we can review, and how we can change things to make it better. And definitely you'll not feel tired or rather burnout. Now, next portion that we go in, right, is about the key drivers of Scrum, which I like to put it as key drivers. Actually, this is actually the values of Scrum. Okay, so Scrum must have these 5 values. Okay, in order to let Scrum work in your organization, everyone needs to understand and live by this value and adhere to this value. Courage, in a sense where you must have the courage to do the right thing and work on the tough problems. You also must have the courage to acknowledge your fault or your error, okay, and then make it right. Okay, sometimes things are a bit difficult, especially to owning up our mistakes is something that is very awkward, especially in our Asian culture. But we need to actually have that. Okay, and next is this. We talk about the focus. Everyone focus on the work. It is being objective. Okay, focusing on the work. The goal is not about your own self. It's about the work, right? And putting down that commitment, ladies and gentlemen, putting down a commitment personally to achieve the goals and the target of the team. Next is about respect. Ladies and gentlemen, respect is important. And also lastly, openness. If you look at this portion here, actually this is something that we should practice in our daily life, right? In work itself, maybe some organizations that you have got into doesn't have all this, or is missing 1 or 2 of it, which is also probably why you have left the organization, which is also probably why you were not so encouraged. You don't really feel encouraged to stay in the team, or you don't feel the ownership, or you don't have a sense of belonging. Okay. Now, while we talk about all these things, right? The other thing that we need to understand is also the key drivers of the VUCA world. Okay, and later we'll look at how we can align. So the VUCA world, again, we are going to use the same, VUCA terminology, but this time around, instead of volatile, we are going to change it to vision. You need to have a vision. The company needs to have a vision. Okay. Second, instead of uncertainty, you need to have the understanding, being empathetic. Right? Being empathetic for people. There are tons of reasons why people can't work, and how we can make it better for people. Understanding this portion is something I think that every one of us, especially the senior management people, will need to actually have. I quote you all this, a live case example. This now it's 2022, right? So about 2 years ago, 2020, one of the top telecommunication company in Singapore, one of the top telco, a friend of mine works there. This poor girl, her name is called Janine. Janine is younger than me. She's one of my trainers as well, but she went over there working full time, doing marketing. There was one day Janine posted on Facebook saying, finally, I have my first toilet break of the day. Which you know what time that was? 1 a.m. I was a bit shocked. I texted her. I said, Janine, are you kidding me? 1 a.m. first toilet break of the day, we past 12 midnight. That's why this is the first time going to the toilet. I said, no, I was up since 7. I haven't gotten a chance to get into the toilet aside from washing up in the morning until now. I said, why? Because the uncertainty that a lot of people have, especially the management, created a very big problem. Okay? Everyone thinks that, oh, you're working from home, what? So she had meeting from 8 to 10, 10 to 12, 12 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 6. Okay, and it just goes on. And here's the thing, because everyone feels that you're working from home, so it's a lot more flexible. It's on Zoom. You just need to hop on. But without having that understanding that they are also human. The boss failed to understand Janine is still a human. So without having that understanding, it is tough. And actually, Janine actually left the company after 2 months. She's now in a new company, and she has been there for the past 2 years. Okay. Why? Because there was a lack of understanding. And we as trainers, I do training, classroom training, I do on Zoom. I have participants, daddies, mommies texting me, hey Kelvin, I'm so sorry. Today my son is sick, my baby is sick. Would you mind? Is it okay that I carry him, I cuddle him or her, or feed him or her while I'm attending the class? I'm listening. I think it's okay. You can do as long as you're paying attention, it's okay. I have that level of understanding, simple understanding that things can be done. It's fine. I can't possibly tell them that, hey, no, you're on class, you're being paid to be attending the class, you should attend class, you should not be taking care of your child. If I were to do that and that lack of understanding, those of you ladies and gentlemen who are daddies and mommies here in the group chat, I'm going to ask you this question. Would you be able to concentrate in your class? I highly doubt so, right? You see your child wailing over there, crying, fretting, moving around, turning, tossing, because they're having fever or diarrhea, whichever. But you are just seated there, literally locked down on your seat. You can't move anywhere, and this is going to be a torture. Right? But this is also going to be one thing that pushes people away. But next one that we go in is clarity. Right? You must be clear, you must be focused, you also must make decisions, okay, clearly based on right information. Okay? Don't do things that is ambiguous. Okay? While there is about constant, here is about clarity. Okay? And the last one that we talk about is agility. Agility is always about having an open mindset. Okay? VUCA in a short sense with Scrum, ladies and gentlemen, the first thing that we talk about is the mindset. Having a growth mindset, having an open mindset, having not having a fixed mindset. A fixed mindset means you're confined to the box. Okay? Presentation classes can only be attended face to face. No. Okay? If classes can only be attended face to face, right now I should be in Hong Kong with Rita beside me, and then we doing things, and probably we having to travel to Cambodia and other different countries to ensure this happens. So this is one thing that we want to understand for everyone. Right? The next takeaway here is to have growth mindset. Anything, everything is possible. Okay? I'm not going to use Murphy law to tell you that whatever will not happen will happen. But that's the truth, right? We look on the flip side of Murphy law. Okay, is that anything, everything can happen and can be done. We look at the next portion, is the 6 principles of Scrum. Scrum itself, we talk about your collaborating, okay? We talk about value-based prioritization, we talk about time boxing, we talk about iterative development, self-organization, and control over process. I'm going to go on first one. Control over process here, ladies and gentlemen. In Scrum, a lot of people is going to be thinking, oh, what is all this? Yeah, I'm going to simplify a lot of things for you all. Okay, control over process here is this. In Scrum, right, we believe that there are three main ideas to process control. First is having the transparency, second is having the inspection, and lastly, the adaptation. Okay, so when we talk about control over process, the principle of Scrum is that you must be able to have a certain level of control. It's not like a full dead-on control, like a control freak, okay? It's more like you know what's going to happen and how things are going to happen. And you need to be prepared for that. Next thing that we talk about is the self-organization. Okay? In other words, it's about being self-initiated. Okay? People can run on their own. In Malaysia, there's this telco, ICAgile. A friend of mine was actually doing a training for them. He was actually very amazed with ICAgile. So what happens in ICAgile is that staff are so well organized. Okay? There is literally no litter on the floor and even more time. When they leave the room, when they leave the office, if the lights is not switched on, they are not going to say, who didn't switch it off? They'll switch it off themselves. Okay? There is this certain level of self-organization and self-initiativeness to actually do things for the greater good. Okay? Because they believe that everyone should work together, and then although you are working independently, but you're all related, you're all linked. So being able to do that is also another important thing. Okay, now collaboration. Here's the thing. Be it Scrum, be it anything in our understanding, okay, the future of growth is about you working as a team. Okay, you being able to cross-functionally work with each other. I know. In my 18 years of doing team building, I have always had this pleasure. It sounds bad, but I've always had this pleasure and entertainment of looking at teams fighting it out. Especially when I organize for corporates, and then they have the whole staff, everyone to attend. Right? Then if I were to put the people like, for example, the salespeople in one team, the finance people in another team, the HR in another team, the admin in another team, the ops in another team, wow, I will always see a big fight. Because they are always going to say, I is more important, yours is not so important. And here's the thing, this quarrel will always happen. Sales and the finance will always quarrel. It has always been like that. The sales will fight with the finance because the finance is not giving them enough commission or whatsoever. The finance will go and scold the sales because, hey, to sell the thing, you need to get the money back. But the sales people are saying, hello, you're the finance one. You build out the further, I go and sell, I work very hard to sell the thing. Money comes in, you should go and chase, right? Not only go and chase for the money. Okay. The truth is, collaborating makes things go easier. Working cross-functionally works it out as well. How do we actually do a collaboration? First thing is perspective. That in the sense of you being able to put yourself in the other party's perspective. Okay? See in the view of other people, then you can move forward. Okay? Because you are always looking at things on your side. It will never happen. You see before, the picture of the 6 and the 9, the word 6, the numerical 6. Two persons standing on each side, they look at the alphabet differently. Okay? One will look at it as 6, the other one will look at it as 9. Okay? But if you stand on either side, then we realize, oh, this could be 6, this could be 9. Okay? This is what we mean by collaborating to work cross-functionally. Okay? Next is value-based prioritization. Value-based prioritization here, I would say it's about prioritizing tasks and organizing tasks that's based on the value based on which is more important. Okay. HR side, we always have this problem is that the boss always tell you everything is more important. Theirs is more important. You should put that first. Heard of it feels always all the time, right? This is more important, do this first. That one can wait. Then by the time you are touching on that thing, it suddenly becomes important. There's another problem that we always have. Now, so you put it in simple understanding, is prioritizing your task. And this one actually pre-leads to your time box. Okay? Time box in the sense where you set a time frame, you know. Okay? In project planning, they always call it the Gantt chart or the waterfall method. You finish this thing, then you do this thing, then you do that thing. Okay? So the time box is also going to be the same. Okay? The principle of Scrum is also that you need to understand things must be done first. Okay? Completed before you move to the next level. Right? So part by part, things can be done. Okay. Now, I'm not going to go so much into the rest, like the iterative development. Yeah, it's just one small thing about iterative development is there's 3 pointers that you all must understand. Number 1 is that it is cross-functional. We talk about being cross-functional. Number 2, we talk about smaller. Okay. We talk about teams that works. Okay, and small teams, small wins. Okay. Let's just put it in a simpler example. Imagine a flight of stairs right in front of you that leads to the 2nd floor. Okay. If today the flight of stairs, okay, has only 1 step, are you able to reach to the 2nd floor? It's literally impossible, right? Because you need to stretch your legs so much. But now the flight of stairs is a normal flight of stairs. There's small steps by steps and steps. Do you find that it's difficult to climb? No. Do you feel a sense of accomplishment? Yes. Okay. And the next portion about smaller, okay, is about your team size. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a reason for Ken and Jeff to say that 3 roles only. And there is a reason for that. Okay, there's not so many roles. Why? Okay, because it is proven fact that when you have too many people, okay, just like what we always say, too many cooks spoils the broth. Okay. I'm a Boy Scout. I was a Boy Scout. I am still a Boy Scout. In Boy Scout, we also say 1 small squad is about 6 people. It should be 5 to 6 people. 5 followers and 1 leader. Okay? So it's the same logic. Imagine you have 10 people in a team. Do you think everyone can get things right if you're just doing 1 small job? Okay? It will cause redundancy. And this redundancy for HR personalities is going to fall on you, which is hence why we talk about small teams. Okay? Small teams will help. And the last portion, I don't like to use the word accountability. I prefer to use the term ownership. Okay? Why? Because accountability is pushing the responsibility to a person and telling them that you are accountable for it. Okay? Ownership is then taking it up and say that I am responsible for it. So a slight change, in my own personal opinion, is that get them to have ownership. Get your team members to have a sense of ownership. Right? We come to the last portion. The second last portion, we talk about the 12 principles of Agile Mindset. Right? Agile Mindset, there's this 12. You all notice similarities with Scrum? Very similar, right? Like, for example, the change. Deliver frequently. Deliver frequently, we talk about iterative development, small wins. Okay, working together, collaboration, okay, trust and support. Well, if there's no trust and support, you will never work together. If there's no trust and support, you will not be with who you are for your lifetime. Okay, this is the same. Okay. Now, number 6 is something that I would like to actually share with you all. Face-to-face conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, find it difficult, right? Okay, to put it this way, find it difficult in the sense where Kelvin and I thought we are now, online. We should be used to doing online virtual and stuff like that. Yes, we should be used to it already by now for 2 years of using. However, face-to-face conversation will still require us to switch on the video as a basic courtesy and then to interact with the person. I mean, today, Rita, Amelia, your camera is off. I'm just talking just like that. I can't see your face. I'm not sure whether you understand. I'm not sure you have any questions. I can tell a lot of things. Same goes here. If I want to switch on my video, I'm just going to talk. How would you feel? You know, it's a different feeling, right? So face-to-face conversation is still ultimately more important. Of course, physical face-to-face conversation is even better. Why? Because since the start of time, I'll put it since the start of time, Aristotle, okay, since the start of civilization, Aristotle until all the way now to Charles Darwin, to right now, Simon Sinek, all these very famous people for theology and sociology, they have already acknowledged this. We humans are social animals. We humans need that physical interaction. Okay? Which is why there are a lot of people who almost go crazy during the COVID period. There's also a lot of depression and mental wellness problems that appear. So again, face-to-face is something that is important. Okay. Now, next one we talk about is continuous attention and also to maintain simplicity. Right? Maintaining simplicity in the sense, ladies and gentlemen, we talk about being it short, being it simple, keeping it clear, right? And lastly, continuous attention is the same as being adjusting and reflecting. It's just like what we have shared just now on certain of the points. Okay. Now, so ladies and gentlemen, we come to the last portion of the day. So here, in this portion here, I would like to actually share all your 5 simple tips. Okay, if you want to implement Scrum or Agile into your organization, right? There's these 5 simple tips for everyone. Number 1, you need to have 100% organizational buy-in. 100% organizational buy-in. It's not that your top management thinks that this is a good thing, I should use it, or the bottom management or the middle management thinks it's good, let's do it. Okay. If there's no 100% buy-in, there's no coordinated and concerted effort to get this thing done. Okay. Now, next is this: less haste, less waste. Okay. What do I mean by that? There's a lot of people who think that Scrum, is a magic pill. Once I have everyone buying in, once I have everyone doing it, it will be right, it will succeed. I'm going to tell you this, there's a lot of companies that actually fail using Scrum and Agile because they thought that this is a magic pill, they're just going to do a change management and everyone, tomorrow morning, all are Agile. Hey, people need time. People need time to adapt. People need time to understand. People need time to adopt and then adapt it to their work situation. It is not something that you can do and immediately it happens. Okay, and I'm also going to share all this. Sorry, I'm just going to share this. 2 days ago, I had over a Zoom interview with a company. They were interviewing me, not I interviewing them. They interviewed me for me conducting a leadership training for them. Okay, so me and my partner, we were actually talking to them, and then they asked us this question. Patrick, why is that your leadership program has 3 tiers? Why is it different from the other mentors? How come? I look at them, I just smile. I told the staff, I said, and the GM, I said, ma'am, with all due respect, Lisa, this simple question I'm going to ask you is, you being the GM, you're also the leader, right? You're the C-suite, right? Yes. So, is your work the same? Okay? Is your work the same as your ground level staff? He said, no. I said, yeah. So everyone has a certain level of time to adapt, So here is also the same, less haste, less waste. Next, we talk about setting a vision. The top management must set the vision, and then the rest of them must be able to see the vision and align with the vision. Okay. Lastly, the last two, training and practice. Okay. Like I said just now, less haste, less waste. Everyone, must also understand it's not about just after training, let's do it. You need to have some time to practice. Okay. Last and not least, what I shared earlier at the right at the start, adopt and adapt. Okay, not copy and paste. Okay. Now, with that, I end my session. Any questions over here so far? No? Okay. Rita? Susan?
Very clear, yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, this is one sharing that we have, right? For those of you who would like to actually implement the Agile or understand more, then you can connect with us through Rita. We have this program that's been launched. It's a very basic program over 2 days to let everyone understand how you can implement Agile and how you can use Scrum for your organization. All right, Rita, I'm going to stop sharing and hand it back to you.
Okay. Thank you, Kelvin. Thanks very much for the very clear explanation of the principles about Scrum. And if anyone is interested in his program that he just shown us, just feel free to contact him. I'm sure that you can be connected on LinkedIn, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So any questions from the participants here? Susan, any question from your side? Susan is a very experienced person. I think Susan actually does not work in the HR field, right? You've worked in another field, Susan. Is that right?
Susan, you're muted.
Susan, you have muted yourself. Okay, well, no worries. Maybe she doesn't want to talk. Okay. Anyway, so my friend, and Rick, and so if you have no questions, then that's all for today. And I have once again I thank Kelvin and his team for attending and also for delivering the session today. Okay, if you're interested, just let Kelvin know. If you want to let me know, and I will also refer you to Kelvin. That's okay with me too. Okay, so if no other questions, have a very nice weekend. Okay, bye-bye. Thanks, bye.